Hello, welcome back to Drunk Storytime with Quefish. Whew, I couldn't even say that. This really is Drunk Storytime with Quefish. I am actually cutting myself off at this point. But I am reading Mummy's sippy cup. This is the last one I'm having. So I am milking it a little bit. This is a continuation of Fyre. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Crack thick prompts. So this is chapter 3. Particular pleasures. Today's prompt. You get to pick between two, or you could combine for extra horror. Heaven/Hell's head offices get some interesting paperwork about the actions of an angel and a demon, and or weird moments in history. And the author, Fyre, noted, since I've already done a ton of history, I thought I'd leave it this time around. The printer word. Shut it off already, Gabriel bellowed, cramming his head over the out tray. Shut it off. We can't. Uriel tried to wrench the blank paper from the feeder, but as soon as she did, a fresh roll manifested and started purring through the machine. Oh my gosh, I remember with the things on the side. Oh, I love that stuff. Let me break it. Sandalphon waded through the mountain of receipts. That'll stop it. God, I hate him. A burst of paper forced its way through Gabriel's fingers, exploding into the air in a whirling cascade, adding to the growing tangled nest of earthly receipts. Oh, for heaven's sake! Michael swiped with a sword, cutting a neat path through to the latest report on the Earth operative. Lubricant, strawberry. I thought I was going to be able to say that. This is a cold read, by the way. I haven't read this first. Lubricant, strawberry. Lubricant, cherry. Lubricant, vanilla cream sundae, they read, brow furrowing. Swing. 1. Another one. Gabriel moaned. How many swings does one angel need? Didn't he just get one yesterday? Reinforced ceiling hooks. 3. Michael put in helpfully. I think he broke it. Broke it. Gabriel pinched the bridge of his nose. Can't we? He flailed a hand. Cut him off or something? I mean, these things. Perversions? Sandalphon supplied eagerly. Yes, these perversions. He can't keep using miracles for them. The printer started to hum again, and 4 sets of angelic eyes turned to it with trepidation. Another roll of paper erupted out of the out tray with miracles of butt plugs and chains and floggers and gas masks. What in her name? Gabriel wailed. Anything else, Mr. Patterson? The little man peered around the back of his shop, the shelves brimming with new stock. Honestly, Mr. Fell, I don't know how you managed to get the suppliers to deliver so quickly. He'd had the shop next to Mr. Fell's for a long time, and when Mr. Fell had heard that he'd fallen on hard times, he'd come in and offered to help. Are you sure you don't need paying for this? Mr. Fell smiled at him warmly and patted him on the shoulder. I take a particular pleasure in the bestowing of these gifts, he said. Mr. Patterson grinned at him. He was, after all, a purveyor of particular pleasures. Well then, sir, any time you want to indulge, you be my guest. Mr. Fell smiled like an angel. Oh, don't worry, he said. I shall. Oh my God, it's so funny. This is chapter 4. Playing by the rules. The prompt is board games. And my mouth is dry. Are you sure this is in the rules? Crowley nodded. Yep, definitely. It's my fault the game ended up being capitalized on instead of being sold as a cautionary tale. Know the rules like the back of my hand. Aziraphale glanced up from his notebook and frowned down at the board. So every time I land on one of the little houses, I have to take off a piece of clothing and give you some money? Renter's economy, Crowley said with all the certainty of a skilled bullshitter. Giving the coat off your back. Metaphorical and interactive. He swayed lazily from side to side on the seat. Not scared of losing, are you, Angel? Are you sure you don't have the rule book somewhere? Crowley gave him a wounded look over the top of his glasses. Do you think I'd waste my time making up rules? Aziraphale pursed his lips. Fine, we'll play. No, you can't sodding do that. Aziraphale beamed at him. Ah, but I can. He riffled through the pages of his pad. According to the rules, as cited before we began, I can have as many houses as I like on each of the properties that I own. Yeah, Crowley sputtered. I meant like 3 on one property, not 1 on every square of the bloody board. Aziraphale smiled at him, admiring the flush of pink rapidly spreading up the demon's face and over most of his chest, and even on his bare thighs. It's a renter's economy, my dear. One must learn to distribute one's portfolio. Crowley stared at him in dismay. Don't you fucking dare. With great care and deliberation, Aziraphale placed lovely little greenhouses on every colored stripe from Regent Street to Mayfair. He glanced at Crowley's little car parked on Piccadilly. Do you feel lucky? He said, unable to help himself. Well, do you? Crowley wailed and threw the dice. That's fantastic. That is one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube. I'm not gonna lie. It's so silly. But I love watching YouTubers play the Monopoly online game. It's just, I don't know what it is about it. So thinking of them playing Monopoly is just amazing. Just all the rules that they would have to come up with. Anyway, we're going to go on to chapter 5, Playing with Yourself. Prompt. The prompt for this chapter is boredom, specifically lockdown inspired. So I assume this came after the video from Neil Gaiman, David Tennant, and Michael Sheen and the crew. Okay, if you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about. Day 1. This is fine. Definitely fine. Got telly, got plonk, all good, sorted. What the hell's a plonk? I'm an American. I don't know these things. Day 3. Video games. That's what people are doing. I'll get one of everything. Spread a bit of wrath and jealousy while I'm at it. Good stuff. Day 5. Bloody red shell. That's Mario Kart? Yeah? Day 7. Morning. Wonder if you can juggle on the ceiling. Day 7. Lunchtime. Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Day 7. Afternoon. What absolute bastard dropped that decanter there for anyone to step... Oh, wait. Never mind. Day 11. If it's good enough for Steve McQueen, it's good enough for me. Miracle. 1 ball and baseball oven glove thingy. Shit. Miracle. 1 window pane repaired. Day 16. Regina picked a damn inconvenient time to get mold. Couldn't nip out. Others wouldn't notice. But then there are those pillocks out on the bridge every night. Don't want to give them the wrong idea. Miracle. 1 plant. Deposited in greenhouse at Buckingham Palace. Day 18. Oh, come on. You call that a big snake? Come back to me when you get past the 10-foot mark. Ha! World's greatest snakes indeed. Day 23. If the wine's all the way through there, wonder how far my arms can go. Day 23. Evening. Note to self. Mavis's eyesight is bad. May take roaming arms as an omen and beat them to death with a broom. Arms officially quarantined. Ugh. Day 24. Wonder what else can change size. Day 26. Hypothetically. Day 27. But technically, day 30. Oh, come on. I know I'm thinking it. What's the harm? Day 31. Note. No, it cannot be used for autoerotic asphyxiation. Also, thank fuck for the glasses. Could have put my sodding eye out. Day 35. Invented a new game of hide and seek. Well, mostly hide. Started small, scaled up. Definitely roomy down there. Day 36. Day 37. This is probably a bad plan. Day 38. Stop folding it over. You absolute tit. How did you think this was going to end? Oh no, not another concussion, you idiot. Day 40. Set up a new Instagram. Like, where's Wally? Sort of. Day 40. 1 hour later. Banned from Instagram. Bloody puritanical bastards. If it's made of marble, fine. If it's sticking out of a bush in a flat in London, oh no, you're a filthy pervert. Pricks. Well, they're not wrong. Day 42. Ugh. So bored. Day 43. Oh, Angel. That was fun. Alright, so this is chapter 6. Let me just make sure I can put both of them. Okay. I just want to make sure I can put 6 and 7 in the first. Okay. So chapter 6 is literally. Prompt is misadventures with technology. Notes are I played very fast and loose with the kind of tech that amused me. It all started in the 70s. Soho was a perfect place to it. Poster up here, a little flyer stuck on a wall there. Technically, yes, there were medical applications, but people could just be so people-y sometimes. The little things bothered them. Didn't want to disappoint. Let the side down. Impressions and all that. And he hadn't really needed to do much to tempt people. Had a few demonstration models just kicking about, planting the seeds, the ideas. Enough images to gently fan the touch of self-consciousness. Not like they really worked all that well anyway, but the idea of them got people so hot and bothered. Fantastic, really, what the idea of some tubes and pipes and things could do. Easy temptation. I have no idea where this is going. Best way to do a temptation. Drop it in the proverbial pool and let the ripples spread. And once he'd done his part, he'd left it to do what it always did and forgot about it completely until half a century later. He and an angel were moving all their things into a cottage down by the coast. This came on the van, Crowley. Crowley peered around the hydrangea he was pruning. Aziraphale frowned into the box. It appears to be some kind of medical apparatus. There were two responses Crowley knew he could have made in that moment. Calm, casual, and dismissive. The sensible option. The one that didn't include losing his balance and tipping arse over tit into the bush. Oh dear. The box rattled as Aziraphale hurried closer and Crowley scrambled up, trying to gather what remained of his dignity. Are you all right? Crowley dusted himself down. Shit. Yeah. Demonstration models. Still there and pristine because someone knew he just wouldn't allow dust on anything in his storage locker. It's nothing important, Angel, he said, hoping his grin wasn't a bit too manic. Just some old bits and pieces from the temptation days. And Aziraphale, bloody Aziraphale, picked up the sturdy glass cylinder with its tubing still attached. The pump dangled down over the edge of the box. Oh, I see. He smiled, all warm and bright. Do you want to keep it? Is that like a penis enlarging pump? I'm lost. I think it's a penis pump. Crowley, as a rule, didn't swallow things whole. Made a deliberate effort not to. But right now, it felt like there was a whole sodding rugby ball trying to squeeze its way down his throat. The thing in Aziraphale's hand that they didn't even need, but it was there. And it normally attached to places, and Aziraphale ran his thumb thoughtfully along the glass. I'll place it in the cupboard under the stairs, shall I? Until you decide. Crowley must have nodded, waved, waggled his head, something. Because Aziraphale trotted off, and Crowley stuck his head in the bush, trying not to think of the image of Aziraphale with his hands over a makeshift 70s sex aid. The bush. Just work in the garden. Then the minute Aziraphale wasn't looking, Take the whole lot and tip it in the nearest bin. Take away all of the thoughts and ideas and... He paused, flickering his tongue out. Oh, fuck. He was on his feet and back up the garden in a second flat, cascading into the house and staring around. Another sniff and he thundered up the stairs to the library and threw open the door to find Aziraphale sitting in his armchair, puce-faced, his trousers around his ankles and the pump very much attached. Crowley ricocheted back, smacking against the door frame. Ah! The angel cleared his throat. Crowley, His hand closed on the pump and Crowley saw, almost felt, the little ripple of pleasure. I suppose I should have asked if you minded me trying it out. Mind it. Bloody angel. Could change his sodding genitals at will. Any shape, size, color, for Christ's sake. And was sitting there working a cock enlargement pump on his knob and clearly believed it worked from the size of the buggering thing. Crowley. Words. Yeah, words. Fuck. Aziraphale, still holding his eyes, gave the pump another squeeze. He was flushed and full and swollen and bigger than Crowley had ever seen him. I used to see the adverts, he said, tongue darting along his lower lip. I wondered what it might feel like. Yeah? Crowley croaked. How is it? Aziraphale's face lit up. It seems to be working. Crowley couldn't argue with that. Plump and pink and... Oh, fuck me, he managed hoarsely, as the damned angel slid the glass tube off his deliciously outsized knob. He smiled that shiny bastard smile that Crowley loved more than anything. I hoped you would say that, he said, holding out a hand to Crowley. And for the first time, one of Crowley's own devious schemes came back to bugger him. Very, very literally. Alright, so there's one more chapter in this so far. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. It's short. I know it's a long video. Warlock-Blocked, Chapter 7. The prompt is the Dowlings. Warlock always loved hide-and-go-seek. Nanny knew all the best places to hide, but he had a secret weapon. Some days, Nanny wore a special kind of perfume. She didn't know he'd noticed. All he had to do was follow the smell of the perfume. He ran down the garden and laughed when he heard Nanny's voice coming from the gardener's house, then frowned because she sounded like she was hurting, shouting, "Oh, oh, oh." He ran as fast as his legs could carry him and threw the door open wide. "Nanny!" Brother Francis and Nanny both stared at him. Nanny was leaning on the back of the couch and Brother Francis was behind her, his arms around her middle. Nanny's mouth opened and shut like she wanted to say something but didn't know what. "Ah, hello, Master Warlock," Brother Francis said, grinning with all his wonky teeth. "Lovely day, isn't it? We were..." "Heimlich!" Nanny shouted. "He was showing me how to do the Heimlich maneuver." Oh no! That's fucking brilliant! That's fucking brilliant. He was showing me. He was showing me how to do the Heimlich maneuver in case someone choked on their food. Oh, yes, Brother Francis nodded. Heimlich maneuver. Very important one, young Warlock. Never know when someone might swallow something. Ugh, Nanny said, shoving him back, her face all red. She straightened up and came around the couch. Well done on finding me. You'll have to tell me how you did it. Warlock grinned at her. Never show your weakness or divulge your sources, Nanny. Nanny gave him a funny look, then started laughing. Right you are, my wee monster, she said, ruffling his hair. Shall we go and steal some biscuits? Warlock looked over at Brother Francis. Warlock looked over at Brother Francis, who was as pink as Nanny. Everyone thought they didn't like each other, but Warlock knew better. I could go hide and you could come and find me. Brother Francis beamed. That sounds marvelous, dear boy. Nanny cleared her throat. Best not, young master. The plants need attending. Off you trot. Warlock slipped his hand into Nanny's. Did the hind leg thing hurt? Warlock slipped his hand into Nanny's. Did the hind leg thing hurt? Nanny made a funny noise. No, dear. Why'd you ask? He shook his head. Just wondering. Oh my god. Hind leg. That's so fucking funny. They are there to lick some serious butt. That was fantastic. That was fucking fantastic. So that is all of Balls Abandon Hope, all ye who enter here, by Fyre. The hind leg maneuver. That's fucking brilliant. So please go read it. Don't just listen to me read it. Read it yourself. It's brilliant. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Bye.